Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Sam trying to spin to win on Zwift. If you're new, I hope I'll sweat and suffer enough today to earn your subscription. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you. It is great to see you again. Today is an exciting day. It's the start of the ZRL or Zwift Racing League for this year. Today is about a 25-kilometer time trial, or team time trial that is, on the Douce France course. It should be an interesting race. We're in the B1 category, my team, so it's really competitive and I'm up against a lot of tough riders. But I'm really looking forward to the challenge and to bring you the action for the next 6 races coming up. As is usual in my videos, we'll have a quick look at the competition today. We'll have a quick look at the course, and then we'll jump straight into the action and look at the more important parts of the race today. So without further ado, let's see how we get on today. Normally, I look at Zwift Power and Zwift Racing app to get a better feel for the competitors for a race. However, a team time trial is a bit different. As such, I decided to also put together a simple team overview, which you can see on the screen now. The team name is displayed on the left and then shows information such as average FTP, average weight, and average power numbers. It also shows average watts per kilo info for these parameters, which is probably more useful for this comparison. As such, I also added a simple watts per kilo ranking in the right-hand side columns. The yellow highlights show the team with the highest number in each category, and I highlighted my team, Team Swedish Swifters Mimmer, in blue. Please do note, this is a rough and ready analysis, and I make a number of assumptions. As such, the output should be taken with a grain of salt, however, I still think provides some useful insights. So what does all this data tell us? First, while doing this analysis, I got a good look at the various individuals that make up the teams. And there are some very strong Cat B riders in this competition. I suppose that was to be expected for the B1 category in the Zwift Racing League, but still, I was impressed and a bit awed, if it must be said. Second, based on these rankings, if my team can finish mid-table at the end of the season, we will have done well. Very well. Again, the competition is very strong. Now, with a rough understanding of what we're up against, let's have a quick look at today's course. The time trial is taking place on the Douce France course. I have raced this course many times and is normally straightforward. However, with the team time trial, the start on this parkour can be a bit tricky with the various bumps you have to tackle. Since they appear right after the start, it is crucial you get in your formation as soon as possible, not to lose too much time here on the competition, and also potentially dropping some of your teammates. The second tricky bit is the run-up and ascent of the AcqueDuc. While not a major climb by any stretch, this can cause some confusion in a team time trial, and teams normally have a plan for how to handle this section, whether they stay in a paceline or whether they blob up. Apart from that, the course is very flat and should not pose too many problems. Now let's get the race underway. As I let the footage roll from the start of the race, I wanted to quickly cover our pacing strategy. I'm sure most teams have some variant of this calculation, but at Swedish Swifters we generate the pacing strategy based on 1. The average speed we aim to achieve, and 2. The individual riders making up that team. Those data points generate a pacing strategy which includes how long each rider should be at the front and what watts he or she should try to keep. For this race, we aim to keep an average speed of 46 kilometers per hour. And for me, this meant that each time I was at the front of the pace line, I needed to ride for around 30 seconds at 380 watts. In practice, you may ride slightly longer or shorter, and your watts may deviate a bit around the estimate. but the closer you can stay to your planned time at the front and power output, the better. The key is to be as smooth as you can when rotating around, and sticking to the agreed plan is a good idea to ensure this. Let's now have a look at how we managed the start of the race as well as the initial bumps. A minute into the race, I am now about to start taking my first 30-second pull at the front of the pace line. I will speed up the footage here a bit and stop shortly when, as you will see, I make a bit of a mistake. As I inform my teammates on Discord that I have about 5 seconds left on my pull, we can then see them starting to come past me. Note, however, when I get to the back of the pace line, I essentially lose the wheel here. As such, I have to put in a bit of a dig to get back on and into the draft. I did learn from this mistake and managed that transition much better throughout the rest of the time trial, but it does show how easy it is to get dropped when you're going at these speeds and how hard it is to get back. Now let's look at the rest of the start at an increased pace and then jump to when we ascend the AcqueDuc com. After the start, we managed to push pretty hard for the next 8 kilometers or so. We kept a solid pace line and we are now about to start climb up the AcqueDuc KOM. My average power so far in the race is around 317 watts, so I know that we've been pushing pretty hard, as the estimate for me for the duration of the race was around 295 watts. I will let the footage roll on here as you see us going up the KOM. We decided on what I can only term a semi-blob strategy, as it can be hard to keep a perfect pace line up inclines. We rejoined the action with around 5 kilometers to go. After the AcqueDuc com, we got back information and managed to hold a decent pace line for the next 10 kilometers, give or take. However, we were all starting to get a bit tired and we were not going as fast as we had. I could see this from my average power now having dropped to around 305 watts. And we could also see that the team in front of us and also behind us had increased the lead on us a bit. But we were certainly putting in the effort. As I fast forward the footage here, you will see that our form is much more ragged towards the end of the race as we get more and more tired. But I am proud of the effort we put in, and I really do like that we were able to keep all 6 of us together until the end. Once we finish the race, we will have a quick look at the results and a few final thoughts. As we roll over the finish line, and we watch me again almost fall off the bike here at the end, let's have a quick look at the results from the race. Overall, we finished in 10th spot out of 12 in our division. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I feel this division is extremely strong, and I think we put in a really good effort. Just as a comparison, our time of 32 minutes and 36 seconds would actually have netted us 4th place in another B1 division. Team Talent Fry won with a handsome margin with a super fast time of 30 minutes and 55 seconds, with DZR Crank Crushers and Dragons Praetorians coming 2nd and 3rd. In the end, we averaged 293 watts as a team, which was actually slightly ahead of the planned power output. So again, we did put in a good shift. We were just up against some really strong teams. What I find interesting from this chart is that our average power was very similar to that of the back pedal team, who finished in 6th place, but they were almost a minute faster than us. I think that probably shows that it likely had a better pace line than us during the race. So we can improve as a team going forward for sure. I will finish the video with a quick look at the Zwift power numbers. You can pause the video here if you want to take a closer look at how your team did. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. This is Sam trying to spin to win on Zwift. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.